Oh, okay. We're going live. I was just reading this little note here from Facebook that says that they made a change on February 16 that's going to limit some pages from going live. And shoot, just as right when we're starting to get this system going of where we're going every Tuesday, Thursday, guys, where we're going to be going live. And it says we recommend that you try again in the next few weeks, but you can still stream to your profile on other platforms. So let's see. I'll press live here and I guess we'll figure out if it goes live later. And if it doesn't, well, then I'm just going to upload it. All right. So today we're going to talk about the things that you need to fund your business. Because if you're trying to get money from your bank, if you're still going to your bank to get money to fund your business, well, guys, you're doing it all wrong because there are easier, there are faster ways to get money. There's a number of alternative ways that you can get money to fund your business. So that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to show you 6 alternative ways that you can fund your business other than going to the bank, how they work, how you're going to get approved, and then everything that you need to know to leave this training and then actually go and get the funding that you need for your business. So guys, let's go ahead and dive in. And I've got my notes written down here so that we stay on track, stay focused, right? So the first type of business is one of my favorites, right? But let's look at how lenders really look at because here on the channel we talk about how you make yourself attractive to lenders, and we do that by really putting ourselves in that position, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, this is different than if you're going to go and apply at your bank, right? Because banks are going to look at everything that has to do with your business. So that means that they're going to be looking at your tax returns, they're looking at your P&Ls, they're looking at your bank statements, they're looking at the business credit, they're looking at your personal credit, your bank statements, your tax returns. I mean, they're looking at every aspect of your business. But now, if you're really well established, right, then it might be okay. Like, meaning, if you've been in business for like years, your financials are strong, then business credit is strong, then that's when you want to go start talking to banks about getting loans and credit lines. But up until that point, right, banks are the wrong place for you to look to get funding because they're looking at everything and you're probably not going to meet the requirements. You're not going to have 3 years of business tax returns. You're probably not going to be able to show profit on your tax return, or really well-established business credit. And all of these things that these banks, and sometimes it seems a little crazy, but these are the things that they look at, right? But this is why I love alternative lending, because it is the exact opposite. Because first of all, they're not going to look at both you and your business. They're only looking at one aspect of either you or your business. So, for example, some of them are just looking at consumer credit, right? So if you just have good consumer credit, or you have a guarantor, somebody who believes in what you're doing, right? A partner. Other times they can look at the revenue of the business. If you have consistent revenue, 6 months or more, then that's all they care about, right? But others are looking at, some kind of assets, that can serve as collateral. And we'll talk about those options today. But if you have one of those 3, right, you don't need the other 2. So if you have good personal credit, you don't need revenue, you don't need collateral and like all this other stuff that these big banks need. But if you just have, for example, revenue or personal credit or some kind of collateral, you don't need the others, you just need one. So as a result of only needing one of these strengths, it's way easier to get this money than any other kind of money that's out there. So we're going to go over 6 alternative ways for you to fund your business, starting with number 1, which is a credit card stacking program, right? It's a hybrid program. So how does that work? Well, ultimately, what's happening is we're going out to find you the best credit lines for you, right? Getting them all at the same time. And then the result is you get way more funding than you would on your own, or that if you just applied in one place, right? So, and then if you guys just came in, give me your company name. I want to give you a shout out, right? So with this program, you're getting up to $150,000 in funding, and you can usually get about 5 times the amount of whatever your highest major credit card limit is now. So if yours is 10,000, then you could get about 5 times that, about 50 grand. If it's 10,000 or 20,000, you could get 100 grand. So whatever the highest credit card is, Chase or Bank of America, whatever that is. But with this program, you can get about 5 times the amount of that. So if you have a 20 grand limit, you can probably get 100 grand on this program. Now, this is a no doc program. Okay, guys, what does that mean? They're not looking at P&Ls. They're not looking at balance sheets, bank statements. There's basically no documents except besides verifying your identity. So we need like your driver's license, things like that to verify your identity. And then if you have more questions about this, guys, go ahead and email me directly at dominique@dominoeffectsgroup.com. So you can get 50, 100, 150,000. That's a lot of funding, right? So, and then after that, you can get more funding. But a lot of clients end up asking for increases, right? So if you're paying your bills on time, you start from a point and then you work your way up, right? Start at 100 grand, you could work up to 200 grand a year later. So, but this program is no document, right? All they care about is your personal credit score. So you need a score of about 680 or higher to get approved. And then even if you don't have that, you can use a family member's credit, like somebody who believes in you, right? Somebody else's credit to actually be able to come in and get approved. So you can use a guarantor instead of your credit, right? And by the way, we have many, many clients who have come into this program using somebody else's credit in order to come in and get approved. Now, they do care about inquiries, okay? They want about less than 6 in the last 6 months, okay? If you have more than that, well, then you're probably either going to get denied or you're going to get less funding. They also care about your utilization, okay? So did you guys know that 30% is what is the factor on your personal, okay? 30% is your utilization. So if you have good utilization, then you can qualify for this program, right? And it's fantastic for startups. Okay? It's fantastic for real estate investors, okay? Cuz you can take the cash out of these lines at 0% interest. So a lot of these credit lines are 0%. They report to the business credit reporting agencies. So a lot of them will help you build business credit and you get 0% financing. Plus, you can pull the cash out of these at 0%. So you can literally get $150,000, 0% interest rates for up to 18 months. And this is why industries like real estate love this so much because you can literally like pull the cash out, buy the home, flip the home, do this again, every 18 months. You've made so much money, you could probably, buy these future homes from that point with cash, right? The cash that you make. So, this is I think the BRRRR method of real estate, right? So this is a good way to start the very first process, right? Then you can come in, you can rehab, you can refinance, you can rent it, you can repeat. But the first step is to buy the home and start building your way up, right? So how, think about these kinds of things. I want you guys to be thinking about this stuff. That's why we have this YouTube channel. So that's why I'm giving out these resources. If you find this information helpful, then please make sure that you're liking, you're subscribing, you're sharing with your network because the whole goal is to help more businesses get the funding that they need, right? We want to help you guys get funded. We want you guys to kill it and grow, right? I've been doing this for a bit, so I know that 2024 is about opportunity. So I want to spread that opportunity, okay? So let's go to the next one. Number 2, right? The other type of financing that you can get for your business, okay? The number 1 was the stacking. It's the hybrid, right? No document, good for startups, 150,000 in funding. It's a great program, right? Love it for like so many reasons, right? So number 2 is cash flow financing. So this one, as you can probably guess, comes with you having cash flow, right? Now, if you have cash flow for 6 months, you can get funding using this program. Your personal credit does not matter. You do not need any collateral or asset. I mean, there's lenders that have no credit score requirements. I mean, even if your credit score was like a 360, which you could still get approved for this program as long as you have 6 months worth of consistent revenue and as long as you are managing your bank accounts responsibly. So, what that means is you don't have non-sufficient funds. You have positive bank balances at the end of each month, more money coming in than going out. You're not overdrawing the bank account. Your expenses are separate. You're managing it responsibly. Then you can get this kind of financing. And you can typically get up to $500,000. And guys, I want you guys to be aware of some of the things that take you out of this type of financing. When you're using your business bank account to do purchases like eating out or catch Lyft or do things like that, that dips into how it reflects as far as your cash flow financing. So keep that in mind, all right? Because it takes you out of some of the options, right? How much you're going to get approved for depends on your revenue. And you can usually get a percentage of what your annual revenue is. So we figure out what your annual revenue is and then look at the percentage that you can get that's lent on this program, fast funded, right? You can usually get this within a matter of days, like 3 days or less, just by, a simple bank statement review, submitting your bank statements. And it's one of the fastest ways that I've seen to fund a business. And you can have if you have about 10,000 in revenue, you'll qualify. That's the minimum. Again, if you're managing that bank account responsibly. But that brings me to number 3 of another type of way to get financing, and that is merchant cash advances, okay, otherwise known as MCAs. Now, MCAs work really similar to revenue lending because they don't care about your credit score. They don't care about collateral. All they care about is how much money is going into your bank from credit card transactions. So revenue lending, they're looking at all deposits into your bank account, checks, cash, credit cards. With merchant cash advances, they're only looking at credit card deposits into your bank account. They're going to look at how much you're depositing in credit card transactions, and then you're going to be lent a percentage, right, of whatever the total of those deposits are. So with this program, you only need like 5,000 a month in revenue and then 6 months time in business in order to get approved. Again, very, very fast money, 72 hours or later. But ahead, guys, I want you to also be aware you don't want to get too many of these, right? We've seen people who have been taken out of the running because they've had so many MCAs, right? So you don't want to be just getting a bunch of MCAs. But with MCAs, they do not care about collateral. They do not care about credit either. So that brings me to the next one, option 4, right, of my list of other alternative lending products, and that is invoice financing or factoring. Okay, and I'm gonna explain this in a few different ways. Okay, so one is like invoice financing. If you have invoices, meaning you have customers pay you on terms, then this qualifies for this kind of financing. It's called factoring. It's called invoice factoring. It's called AR financing. And basically, this is where you let your customers pay you over time. But because they owe you that money, that becomes an asset to the business that's going to help you get that money advanced to a lender right away. So let me give you an example, okay? Let's say I have a $2,000 product and I'm going to give you 9 months to pay me back the $2,000. Normally, I have to get a little bit of money from you every month, right? Which is convenient, right? For them because they can afford it, but not for me because I need the $2,000 over 9 months instead of all at once. Well, with AR financing, it's going to fix that problem because it allows the customers to pay over time. But now the lender's going to give us a percentage, even up to 90% of the money right away. Okay, so the customer is making small payments to pay off the 2,000, and then the lender gives me 90% of that 2,000. Okay, 1,800 the next day, even though the customer is going to pay over 9 months. Okay, so you see the benefit here. So the clients can pay you over time. This helps you attract more customers. They can pay you over time, and the big benefit is that you get most of that money right away within 24 hours. So it's convenient to attract more customers and then convenient for you because you're going to get majority of your money right away. Plus the factoring rate on this is really small. We have partners where it's like 1%. So it doesn't cost a lot of money to be able to qualify for this program. They do not care about credit scores. They don't even use, some of them don't even look at your personal credit. They don't care about your cash flow either. All they care about is your receivables. So they get like a AR, right, age receivables report, and they're looking at if you pay. And then, if you're paying, they're looking at if you're credit worthy and your business credit doesn't suck, right? Then there's a good possibility that you can get approved regardless of cash flow. Now, if you're not doing this already, start doing it. Let them pay you on terms, start building up an asset, leverage that to get AR financing down the road. And then as your customers pay you, then you can approve more accounts receivables, and that can be an asset that you can use to get qualified for SBA loans. Okay, so by doing this, it already puts you on an advanced path to start getting things like SBA loans. So that takes me to number 5. Okay, and this one doesn't get a lot of attention in my opinion, and this is microloans. A lot of businesses don't know about microloans because banks don't offer them because they don't make a lot of money, enough money to offer them. So they offered them at these like other obscure places. So most businesses and entrepreneurs don't really hear about them as much. But we should be hearing about them, right? Because it's $50,000 and they work great for new businesses, right? And you can come in with average credit, be a new business, and still qualify for microloans at a lot of different places. Now, I'm in Sacramento in California. We have places like CDFI, and then the Capital Finance Development Center, Minority Business Development Center, the SBA. They help you through the process of getting these microloans. Okay. And, they have, I think the average is like $13,000, but it works really, really well for startups. So just Google SBA microloans, go to the SBA website. They'll give you a list of organizations that they work with, and then you can go to those places, right? You can go to these CDFIs that are in your state that offer these microloans. Okay, so and they have advisors that work there, that have lending centers that work with you. So you can do some research on microloans. There's a lot of different lenders out there. Even Kiva is one of them. So, but SBAs, CDFIs, they offer them as well. And then here's the last one that we're going to talk about, which is business grants. Okay. This is free money, 100% free money you can get to be able to launch or grow your business. And it comes from numerous different sources. Grants come from the federal government, they come from local communities, counties, organizations, your state, that, private organizations. So, there's a lot of, trusts, that actually like charities that create these kind of funds that put together grants for people in that or in their industry or in their sector. So, is grants free? Is it being free? Is it really free? Because that sounds too good to be true. Well, grants are free. You know why? Because they incentivize something. Okay, think about this from the other perspective. Grants are incentivizing growth in an industry or in a region, right? So getting grants for like solar, right? Solar is a big thing. So, and then in California, if you have electric, right? They want to go electric in 2035. So they're incentivizing companies that are in these industries. So they're putting out all of this grant money out to these companies. They're incentivizing that industry to come to that state, to come to their state and do whatever they want to do. They get tax breaks and incentives. Amazon, okay, people are competing, states are competing for the headquarters because they want those jobs in their area. So the state makes all kinds of concessions. So they make it attractive for them to come in and build a facility. So, for example, these grants, right, that they are incentivizing growth in their area. They want growth of a certain industry there. So they incentivize. So just like I said, solar or EV, right? Or even agriculture. And they also incentivize based on a geographic area, like USDA. They put grants for rural areas. They want to incentivize growth in these areas that don't usually have like a lot of businesses there, or agriculture, right? These agricultural companies, right? So if you look at USDA, right, and you look at these like rural or like even urban, right? There's incentives and grants that incentivize grants in rural and urban areas. Okay. So there are and why do they do that? Like I said, for growth, right? They even have something called opportunity zones. I don't know if you guys have heard about opportunity zones, but this is tax breaks for investors who want to come in and invest in certain geographic neighborhoods, areas, communities, right? They get tax breaks. So if you have a company that's, employing others, is teaching skills, it's giving back to its community in some capacity, then you would be a great candidate for some of the lenders that we have. But anyway, some of those private investors, they get tax breaks, they get incentivized for investing in these neighborhoods. So think about also like African diverse businesses, underserved, Black business owners, brown business owners, diverse business owners, female businesses. There's a lot of us. Listen, statistics show it's very, very hard for a lot of these businesses to get money. All right. Now, these businesses really struggle to get the financing that they need to be able to start, grow, and expand their business. So these type of grants really incentivize these type of industries. So this is why you'll find grants that are only for Black entrepreneurs or only for women entrepreneurs or only for Asian entrepreneurs or Hispanic. So if you're in an underserved demographic, then there's a good possibility that there's a lot of grants out there. Hello Alice is in their Fearless Fund. They're going through a situation right now, but I believe they're going to come out on top. Who knows? But grants incentivize, areas for growth, but they're also designed to be able to get funding in the hands of underserved entrepreneurs and businesses to make it easier for them to be able to start and launch businesses. So the easiest way to look for this is to Google, go to look for federal grants, grants.gov. That's the number one source of grants, across all grants. There's thousands, okay? There's thousands of them, you guys. You can go through numerous different searches to actually be able to find the right grant for you. For state and local grants, you want to look at Grant Watch. That one's really good. So that's the best provider of local grants that you can actually get, where you come in. There's all kinds of search criteria, and you can come in and find the right grants for you as well. So we also have great partners that we work with who specialize in grants and grant writing, and they are very involved in the grant network. So would love to, if you want connections with them, we can facilitate. So just make sure that you send a message and we will make sure that we facilitate that connection for you guys. So I want you guys to make sure that you're reaching out. You're coming to class. You're coming to the YouTube every Tuesday, every Thursday, because I'm going to make sure that I'm showing up for you guys every Tuesday and Thursday live. But those are the 6 of other ways that you can use to finance your business. Okay. Number 1, no document funding. It's going to help you build business credit. If you're interested in that program, then you can go to dominoeffectsgroup.com, and then there's a shortcut to just go ahead and get started, and you can apply for that program. Then the second one we talked about was cash flow financing, just based on the cash flow of your business. You manage your bank account responsibly, you can get approved. Number 3, MCA and merchant cash advances, similar to cash flow financing. All you need in business is 6 months. They're looking at your credit card transactions, and you can get roughly, you can get a percentage of, whatever your revenue is with revenue lending, or whatever your credit card transactions are for merchant cash advances. So then that leads me to number 4, which is invoice factoring, right? Invoice financing, factoring, AR financing. But what that does is let your customers pay you on terms, and then gives you up to 90% of the money within 24 hours. So you don't have to wait for all of their money to come in to get paid. And it makes it convenient for them to pay you, right? And then number 5 is microloans, SBA, networks that they work with, CDFIs, Kiva. Those loans go up to $50,000, and they're great for startups. People with challenge credit too, if you don't have a lot of revenue. And then number 6 is free money, baby. grants, right? So local and community grants, federal grants, and then on top of that, you're also looking at grants from private institutions like accelerators, SMUD, PG&E, they're FedEx, they have grants, Apple has grants, Google has grants. Okay. So they're really trying to motivate people, right? They want to motivate people to give them free ideas, but giving somebody a grant to the winner is a minor cost for them to see all of these innovative ideas, right? Of all these people they're actually applying. So that's it, guys. That's it for today. If you want even more different ways, then make sure that you're subscribing to the channel. Make sure you're showing love. Just make sure you're showing support, because this is what our goal is, to create an entrepreneurship school in every single state. We believe that the pathway to make a change, and the only way to really create change, is through economics, right? So let's get excited about economics. Our goal is to drive 1 billion into communities, into the economies for small business and ownership, right? I want to see more businesses, more owners succeeding, but we need the tools, we need the resources to do so. And that's why this channel exists. So make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe, but go ahead and download my free business credit building guide. And then also, guys, make sure that you're signing up for your free funding planning session. Okay. How are you going to know what to do next if you don't know where you're operating from, where you stand right now? So make sure that you connect with me. You go to dominoeffectsgroup.com and you reach out, and let's get you funded.